In the early 1900s, an author named Whitman said, "Keep your face towards the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you." Well, I have a question for you. Do you naturally, when things get tough, turn towards the light, turn towards the positivity, or do you find yourself magnetically attracted to going negative? Well, we're going to find out a little later on that there's a reason for that. Today we're going to do practice 2 out of the Mindful Photography Field Guide. It's called Face Towards the Sunshine. If you really want to break the pattern of negativity, then I really encourage you to try this practice out. You're actually going to develop a reflex when you encounter a negative thought spiral to turn towards the positive and the ultimate source of light. With mindful photography, the first thing that we do is set our intention, and we do that by turning our smartphone into just a simple camera. Turn that smartphone on airplane mode and disconnect Wi-Fi. Let's kind of unjack from the matrix for a little while. Now, when you're out, you're walking around and you're ready to do a practice, first thing you do is just put your hand on your heart and check with your level of peace. You want to take 3 deep belly breaths. Pull some oxygen into those lungs, and let's drop from this monkey mind down into our bodies. And when we open our eyes up, just notice where we are and notice the beauty around us. Welcome to Redstone, Colorado. Obviously, we're seeing beautiful colors here, but we're not going to focus on color today. Let's put our attention on light and shadows instead. So, I'm thinking we're going to shoot black and white today. I'm sure you know you can convert your beautiful smartphone photos to black and white after the fact, right? But did you know you can actually choose the black and white filter in your camera app before shooting and in turn see everything on the screen in black and white? This will help reduce distractions and keep you focused on black and white and shades of gray. Today I'm shooting with the Noir filter, N-O-I-R, which means black in French. It's a super high contrast setting that's perfect for this practice. To me, it creates an Ansel Adams-like look, especially with landscapes. So, the assignment is really simple. Walk around during a sunny day, let things attract you, and then photograph them. You'll shoot the object backlit between you and the sun, and then swivel and shoot the shadow it is casting off. Sometimes you'll be able to catch the backlit object and the shadow at the same time. Next step, do it again and again and again. When you come visit me in Colorado, one of the first places I'll bring you is right here at the church at Redstone. And you will be in for a treat of these beautiful stained glass windows inside. It's such a privilege to live and worship in an area where the beauty of God's creation is so spectacular. These stained glass windows, designed and crafted by Mary Matchell of Crystal Glass Studio, are a reminder that when we see the mountains and trees and streams and wildlife, we should praise God who designed and created all these things. Every time I stand in this sanctuary and bask in the glow of these windows, I feel so full of positivity, inspiration, and light. You know what? That's the exact same feeling I had when I was first introduced to the iconic book, The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Reading the book, I kept having those full-body tingles that come from hearing the truth. I had a revelation about the power and nature of God that changed everything for me. Peale spoke of transforming our minds through Christ, of holding on to mental pictures of dreams in our imagination, pictures that our minds naturally develop if we keep them clear and focused while releasing the outcome to God's will. These coking ovens will greet you when you arrive in Redstone. They were originally built in the late 1800s to reduce impurities in coal and played a vital role in the local industry until the mines closed. Supposedly, they were later used as living spaces by hippies in the 60s who lived in Redstone. That sounds about right. Friends, if you find yourself going negative, I get it. It's so much a part of human nature that it's been called many things. The shadow, lizard brain, the flesh, the sin nature, the lower self, or as Darth Vader calls it, the dark side. It seems to be a universal part of our human experience. And the really messed up part about ruminating on the negative is that there's a sick sense of accomplishment while we're doing it. It's almost like we're actually accomplishing something. Now, this concept of the shadow was explored extensively by the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung back in the early 1900s. Jung described the shadow as the side of ourselves that contains the shameful parts that we want to hide, like self-sabotage and anger and resentment and sexual shame and projection of our own faults onto others, envy, judgment, and perfectionism. So, Jung taught ways to obliterate the shadow, right? No. Instead of trying to eradicate the shadow, he suggested that we embrace it and use it as a tool for growth. Some of you Bible scholars may know the story of Peter barreling down the Crystal River right here in his kayak. We're talking class 5 rapids, spring runoff. He's in major danger, hits a huge hole. He's gulping water. Next thing you know, he sees Jesus walking on the rapids. All Jesus says to Peter is, "Hey, Peter, get out and come towards me." Peter bails out of his kayak and starts walking towards Jesus on the water until he doesn't. He takes his face off of the sunshine and puts it on the turbulence instead, and he starts to sink. I can tell you from personal experience, I know how Peter felt. And I also know this, every time that I've sunk like that, after taking my face off the sunshine, I've always been able to depend on God's hand to reach down and pull me back up. The last step in each mindful photography practice is to shine your light on someone. So breathe and edit down your beautiful creations. Now remember, stay off social media. This is about a mindful one-on-one connection of the heart. Send a few of your favorites to someone who could use a love note of encouragement. In a moment, you will notice you just turned your face towards the sunshine.